Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We're fishing the Upper Altamaha Drainage again. The largemouth bass and the Altamaha bass are both native to the Altamaha Drainage. They're the only two species of black bass native to the Altamaha Drainage. Alabama bass were and have been illegally introduced. Shoal bass were also introduced to the Ocmulgee River Drainage in 1975 by the Georgia Department of Game and Fish. Shoal bass are not native to the Altamaha Drainage. Their introduction has been was pretty bad for the Altamaha bass. The Altamaha bass is also the only member of the sunfish family endemic to the state of Georgia. Endemic means it's found here and nowhere else in the world. Anyway, like I said, we are fishing the Upper Altamaha Drainage. The Upper Altamaha Drainage, that's above the fall line. The Altamaha River Drainage is fed by the Oconee and Ocmulgee rivers. The Ocmulgee is of course fed by the South River coming out of Atlanta, the Yellow River coming out of Gwinnett County, and the Alcovey River. And the Oconee is of course fed by the Appalachee River, the Middle Oconee, and the North Oconee, which is it flows right through downtown Athens. There's a bite. That's too big. Looks like a largemouth. It is.
It sure is.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's a largemouth. Which are native, you know, they're, before people put Alabama bass in here from Lake Lanier, these were pretty widespread. They still are, but they used to get a lot bigger before the Alabama bass were dumped in here. But this is a chunky fish. There he goes. There's a wastewater treatment outflow up there, and that water is kind of heated. A lot of people don't know that. This morning when I was standing up there, I could feel the heat like coming off of it. Alex has a pretty good one.
Not the right kind though.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
It's taking too much drag.
I forgot my darn pliers, my things.
Forceps.
Yeah. I got a brand new pair. That's a pretty good fish.
Yeah.
It's certainly not the right kind though.
Yeah. Where was he? Just off that log over there? It's a healthy fish. Nice one. Look what it is. The old redbreast. Pretty nice redbreast sunfish there. They're in the Lepomis genus, the sister genus to the black bass genus, the Micropterus genus. Let's get him back in the water. See you. Yeah, that one's a hybrid, but it's definitely a hybrid. You can tell because it's got a continuous row of spots or blotches. Uh-oh. Don't lose him. Oh, it's kind of big. Yeah, that's another, I think it's another hybrid. But that one looks a little more Altamaha. Well, maybe not.
Look at how I got this thing hooked. The hook is wedged.
Oh, yeah.
In the mouth there.
That's crazy.
They have a tooth patch?
Yeah, yes.
A little bit, yeah.
The Bama bass and the Altamaha bass, they both have a tooth patch, so the hybrids will also have a tooth patch. But yeah, that's definitely a hybrid. I think that was another redbreast. That's the next good place right there. That's the next high percentage spot right there. Uh-oh, big largemouth. He's like a 4-pounder. Well, I didn't realize I'm in a blowdown.
Oh boy, man, that's a good one.
Yeah, just run into the kayak. Just run into the kayak. He might be a little over 4 pounds.
Did you have him? Good fish.
Have you got a scale? I've got one, but I've got to dig it out.
No, I didn't bring a scale.
All right. Well, keep fishing, and I'll just I'll dig out the scale. I'm gonna go to the bank right here. He's probably right at 5 pounds. He's right at 20 inches with the mouth closed. So that's 540. So he's just under 5.5 pounds.
That's a doozy. That's a good one.
20-inch fish, weighs almost 5.5 pounds. That's a really good, solid.
On the board too.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Alex.
On the board.
Get this fish back in the water. Oh, get that leaf out of your mouth. Sorry about that. Wow. She was more than ready to leave. On the Texas rig, finesse worm. Another small largemouth. Not quite as big as the last one. See you, guy. Maybe he'll bite again. Uh-oh.
No, it's not.
No.
More,
Kind of looked like one.
the last one was a lot more.
We got a double. And this is my first hybrid.
What?
This is my first hybrid.
That's a good one?
It's a hybrid.
Oh. Yeah, mine was.
Okay. I got over here out of the current so we can take a better look at this fish. Now we are fishing the Upper Altamaha Drainage, where Altamaha bass are native, but anglers have illegally introduced Alabama bass from Lake Lanier, or that's most likely where they came from. And the Lake Lanier population is also the result of an illegal introduction. And so that's why it's just not a good idea to move fish around. Lanier is the source population. Somebody living on this river here thought it would be a good idea to bring some of the fish home from Lanier. They're not spotted bass, they're Alabama bass. And this appears to be an Altamaha Alabama hybrid. If you watched the Altamaha bass video I did, this fish looks nothing like the Altamaha bass in that video. It's kind of an intermediate between an Altamaha bass and an Alabama bass. It has some traits that are unique to Altamaha bass, like this crescent patch of skin around the back of the eye. There is some coloration here along the margins of the caudal fin. I don't know if you can see that. There's some faint reddish coloration there on the lower edge of that fin, but there's really little or no coloration or spots in the soft dorsal or the anal fin like you typically see in the Altamaha bass. Also, this caudal fin, the lobes aren't rounded. They're kind of an intermediate between the notched caudal fin of an Alabama bass and the more rounded. The lobes on the Altamaha bass, the caudal fin lobes are more rounded. But this is most likely a hybrid, an Altamaha Alabama hybrid. Just I say that based on the appearance of the soft dorsal and the anal fin. There's very little to no coloration. Also, there really are no lateral blotches visible, but that could just be the cooler water temperature could have a lot to do with that, or where the fish was holding. But without genetics, I'm guessing. So I'm going to get this guy back in the water. It's a largemouth. Another chunkster. Nice chunky largemouth. Native genetics again. Really solid fish. Who let the dogs out? Yeah. Glad I'm not the mailman. You might have noticed all this foam on the surface of the water here. That foam, I'm actually fishing below a wastewater treatment outflow, and this foam is caused by surfactants or surface acting agents in the water. That's surface acting agents, that's just a fancy way of saying soap. It's basically something that is in the water, and I'm getting a bite right there. Wow, there's another little largemouth. Anyway, surface acting agents that's just a fancy way of saying soap. And at the water treatment plant, there's just, not only is there a lot of detergent and soap in the water from household use and industrial use, but they also use surfactants in the treatment process. So when the water is released back into the environment, it's still, the foam, those surface acting agents are still, it's still in the water. The one thing you don't hear a lot about with wastewater treatment plants and wastewater coming from an outflow pipe like this is that the water, especially in the fall and winter, it's actually warmer than the surrounding water here in this stream, and that's because the treated wastewater travels through pipes that are underground, and it's also processed inside the facility there, which is indoors. When they release this water into the environment, those surfactants are still present, and that's why we have all this foam. Obviously, it really doesn't, the fish don't seem to, that's another redbreast, I'm not even going to set the hook. The fish, it doesn't seem to bother the fish, but one thing that not a lot of people talk about or mention is the fact that especially now, during the late fall, winter period, that water, that treated wastewater, it's warmer than the water being released. That's a fish right there. This treated wastewater is warmer than the water in the stream I'm fishing. As you can imagine, these outflow areas in the late fall winter period, when you have cool water, these outflow areas, because the water is warmer, it's kind of a thermal refuge for a lot of bait fish. But not only that, it's just a great place to catch game fish. Not only game fish, there's all kinds of fish around these places. I got another one right here. There's another one. Oh, I'm gonna hit this tree. Now this fish is definitely an Altamaha Alabama hybrid. You can kind of see the blotches there. You also have some spots in the anal fin there. There is some coloration there on the margins of the caudal fin. But that's definitely an Altamaha Alabama hybrid. You don't need genetics on that one, because it has traits that are unique to the Altamaha bass, yet it superficially resembles an Alabama bass. And he was just in this wastewater treatment outflow. You hear a lot of people, well, on YouTube, I hear a lot of anglers call this sewage. And maybe that's just a way of getting more views. Sewage is more of a, I don't know, it just sounds, anyway, it's not sewage, it's treated wastewater. And it does not bother the fish, or as far as I can tell. Obviously, you've seen we've caught a few right here. I got another one right there biting me right now. Wastewater treatment outflow, that's what we've got here. And the foam can be unsettling to a lot of people. It's, I guess some people might even say, sketchy. But the foam is, again, from soap and detergent in the treated wastewater, and it's really just on the surface. It's not really, it does not affect the fish. It's not detrimental to the fish as far as I can tell. And like I said, this treated wastewater in the winter, late fall winter period, it's often warmer than the surrounding water in the environment where it is being released. So it can attract all kinds of game fish, not just black bass. Everything from walleye to stripers to muskie. Just obviously depends on where the drainage you're fishing, the water body. But and these areas, these wastewater treatment facilities are pretty easy to find. You just look for the big holding tanks, the big circular, they're often circular treatment tanks, and there's almost always, they have to have a way to release that wastewater back into the environment. So they most often just use the closest water body. It can be a stream, it can be a lake. There's a fish right there. That's a little largemouth. You know, it doesn't have to be a creek or a river. They can release this wastewater into a lake, but they most often use a stream, or just because you have moving water, it just dissipates more readily than it would into a flat body of water like a lake or, you know, pond. So basically use Google Maps, find the treatment tanks, which are often around, and from there just look for the closest adjacent body of water. It's that easy. And you can find, you know, a warm water, it's treated wastewater, but it's warm water, or it's often warmer than the surrounding water if you fish it in the late fall or winter period like we are now.
Are you back there?
Yeah, I caught 4 or 5. I caught one hybrid and the rest were largemouth. You get any?
I got one. Redbreast.
Little chunkster largemouth. The old Upper Altamaha native largemouth. Whoa, easy buddy. See ya. Little largemouth. A little largemouth.
A nice one too.
Yeah, he's 12 or 13 inches. He's 12 or 13 inches.
They sure are healthy.
Yeah.